Kick off the new year with the conclusion of one of the most iconic anime series of all time. Will humanity prevail? Or will the Titans destroy everything? It all comes down to this. Attack on Titan, final season, the final chapter special, part 2, premieres next Saturday at midnight. The end is nigh. Only Toonami on Adult Swim. The red light district is overrun.
Let that poor woman go!
Who the hell do you think you're talking to?
And it's going to take some serious swordsmanship to slay these sirens.
Wow. This might be harder than I thought.
Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba Entertainment District. Premieres Saturday, January 13th at midnight. Let the good times roll.
Your deaths are inevitable, so just die!
Only Toonami on Adult Swim.
Hello everyone and welcome to Toonami Therapy on December 26th of 2023. I'm Michael.
I'm Tommy.
And we're here to discuss some of the anime we've been watching, none of which aired on Toonami this week because they're just showing reruns.
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually probably going to be a kind of short episode, baby.
Maybe.
Maybe. Anyway, so I don't think there's any new news about anything Toonami related yet. We've still just got, another week of marathons. Then we have the Attack on Titan Article 4, Chapter 8, the end, really. I gotta milk that joke. I'm not going to be able to make it again after it airs.
You might. You never know.
Okay, fine. Attack on Titan, the final chapters, 2, Electric Boogaloo. So we've gotten, right, so I guess we just move into it, and we have the Eminence in Shadow, episode 32, end of the second season, and basically, we went straight from the first to second season, didn't we? We didn't even have any pauses for the podcast, I mean.
I thought we did.
I can't remember. Well, anyway, Eminence in Shadow, episode 32.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at my screen and I saw the word Spy Family, and
okay.
I thought that's what you said. No, Eminence, yeah, you're right about that. I was thinking Spy Family.
Don't worry, they're series that are very easy to confuse. Okay. So we have right. So last episode I said that I thought Sid one-shot it, the bad guy. No, he doesn't one-shot it, but he does beat it pretty quickly and easily. The other bad guy who showed up, well, he gets beaten by the other Shadow Garden people, and he does helpfully say, oh yeah, there's like multiple universes and they all go around this universe thing, and when they collide they become one universe. Like our universe had something like that, but then it collided and then magic got introduced and things like that. So basically, after we get that kind of lore dump, they talk about, they mentioned that basically they have like gateways to other dimensions and stuff, and that sort of stuff. Anyway, what ultimately happens is that Sid beats the. Yeah, I got it mixed up. Sid beats the monster that was summoned. But then he fights the other guy, and then they just end up in space, and Sid uses his atomic attack again. Mm-hmm. And beats him. Then he comes back, and then he gets he apparently activates the gate or something, gets sucked into an alternate universe, which apparently is Earth, or at least the Earth he was from. Because remember that girl we saw in the first episode? Yeah, we see her again, and except she's older. And then, then she gets kidnapped again. And Sid again shows up now in all the Eminence gear and stuff, shows up and rescues her again. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, I was greatly disappointed by this. Hoping for a big reveal or something at the end, and all we get is a reverse isekai, as people were calling it. He kind of gets reverse isekai back into his old world. We don't see anything of what's happening with Rose or any of that. And that kind of just gets forgotten about because now Sid is in his old world. He's back. And this old world isn't really all that interesting. So I hope he gets isekai back from being reverse isekai to his older isekai world. And hopefully this third season isn't like a season all about his old world, because it honestly wasn't that interesting.
Well, it's not another season, it's a movie that's coming up to continue it.
Oh, crap.
To be fair, in regards to going to his old world, we've at least gotten some indications that stuff has shifted considerably. Like there is some stuff about how it's dangerous out at night. It looked like there was some science fiction stuff going on. The girl apparently got referred to as what was it they called her? Like savior or something. She apparently had something important. So it at least looks like it's not just our world again. Like stuff has changed somehow, but we don't know the specifics yet. Well, anyway, but this is it. We finally got the payoff for that first episode. That we spent the whole time wondering what was the point of that episode. Apparently, in the light novels, originally that first episode, it took place like here. We had a flashback to this stuff, and then Sid came back to his world. They put it chronologically at the start of the series, which I guess in some ways it kind of works in that, you have that there, and then you're like, oh, wow, here's that character again. I wonder what will happen. But on the other hand, I still think it gave people a pretty wrong impression of the show based on the first episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I didn't like that first episode because it was just so different from everything else that it completely changed worlds and stuff. I guess if you're gonna have an isekai, you gotta have a world you got isekai from. So I guess they had to do it that way, but it wasn't my favorite way to begin a series.
Oh, no. Several isekai series just start with the protagonist in the alternate world. Like with no information about their previous life. I know of at least 2 series that specifically say, oh yeah, well, I don't have any memories of my previous life. So which make you think, why is it even an isekai then?
Which ones are those?
There was Black Summoner, because it explains that in order to be more power, when he was getting reincarnated, because like he talked to some goddess or whatever, he to basically get higher stats, he traded in his memories of his past life, so he doesn't remember any of them. The other one was was reincarnated as a sword, where he's just a sword and he doesn't remember his past life. I think he might remember like some general things about Earth, but not anything about his past life. Of the 2, for the record, I didn't like Black Summoner. I've only seen a few episodes of Reincarnated as a Sword, but it seemed okay so far, I guess. I mean, it's not as crazy as a vending machine or an apple.
or a putter.
That one,
Little sister's putter.
that wasn't an isekai though.
That wasn't an isekai. Okay.
No, that was just a manga about a guy who got reincarnated as his sister's putter. It looked like it had a bunch of dumb fan service from what I read of it, though. So, but still, not an isekai. We're talking isekai here. What? But yeah, Sid coming back to his world. Like, if we actually see it's changed, I could see it being interesting. But yeah, I don't know. Is it a reverse isekai if the person just goes back to their world? Usually, I thought that's more of a term for when someone from an alternate world ends up on Earth. Like, man, I'm actually
like if Alexia ended up on Sid's old world, right? Is that
something
what you
like
mean?
that. I was thinking, what are some examples of reverse? There's a bunch of them, and for some reason I'm blanking on all the reverse isekai series. Now I just need to see.
The familiar of Zero reverse isekais in the final credits, but that again, that was the final credits after the whole show was pretty much over. So I don't know if that counts.
No, that's just them going back. A reverse isekai isn't just a character who goes back and forth between worlds, because there's several series that were like that. There was I got a cheat skill in another world and got what was it? I got what was the full name?
What about Inuyasha?
Yes, that would be, well, technically that's time travel, but it might as well be isekai.
Yeah.
Okay, the series I was talking about, I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled in the real world too. Which is, by the way, one of the most blatant wish fulfillment isekai I've ever seen. It's like, oh, I go to this alternate world. Now I'm super strong. I come back to this world. Oh, wow, I'm super handsome now. But that was one that involves going back and forth and things. There's like several. There was another one, but I can't remember. Like saving 80,000 gold from my retirement or something was it. I can't remember exactly how all of it went. But yeah, there's some reverse isekais. I'm just for some reason blanking on all of them. Okay, let me just see if I can see some of this stuff. Well, in the meantime, while I try to look up examples of something that I should actually know some great examples of, did you have anything else you wanted to say about the episode or the series?
The series? Well, I think I'll save that talk for our end of year show, but this episode was a little disappointing.
Okay. Oh, Dad. Uncle from Another World. Well, no, that's him going to another isekai and then he comes back. That was a comedy series. It's about this guy who's been in this coma for like a decade or two or something, and he comes back, and then it turns out the whole time he was just on an isekai adventure, and now he has his powers still in this world. So there's a bunch of jokes about him like fighting. Oh, I'm not going like discovering all the changes that have happened in the world. Oh, Yaboy calling me. I guess that's technically an isekai. The devil is a part-timer. Okay, I remember that one, but I heard that series got kind of not great later. Man, there just don't seem to be that many reverse isekais. I feel like there's a bunch of stuff. There's got to be some series where people from another world come here and do stuff, but yeah. Okay, so we wasted everyone's time with all that, I guess.
That's not a waste.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I know some ones where there's like back and forth. There was a one called Summon to Another World for a Second Time. It didn't seem that great, and I didn't hear great things about it. But yeah, it's about someone who just gets isekai to a world they were previously isekai to. Then this is one of my favorite. This premise is great. Some new series called dang, maybe I mentioned this last episode. If so, I apologize. Because I remember explaining this. I'm thinking, did I say it on the podcast or was this what I told my brother? It was next season, Dr. Elise. It's about someone. It goes for everything. It's isekai, reverse isekai, and regression, and a villainess, one of those villainess series. It's about this person. Oh, she was like the ruler, but she was like really evil and stuff, and got overthrown and executed. And then she goes, and then she gets reincarnated to our world. It's like, okay, I'll do better this time. And you know, things are great, except then she's in a plane crash and dies. And then goes back to her old world earlier in her life and is like, I'm going to do it right this time. Kind of like Tear Moon Empire, but with more isekai, and probably less jokes. But so there's that. Okay, we can go on and on and on and on about isekai stuff. There's just so much of it. Okay, Eminence in Shadow. General thoughts. I'll say. So I was going to say Eminence in Shadow is kind of weird to me in that it's a series that I sometimes really like and a series I sometimes really don't like. But then I realized how many series I watched this year fit that description. I would say, so there's some stuff I really didn't like. I remember there were some points where it's like, ooh, do I even want to keep going with this series? But other times it was pretty fun. And so it all averages out to being definitely on the better side. There's definitely more good than bad in it. I just kind of wish it had dropped the bad and focused just on the good.
Yeah, I'll have more to say on Friday. So
okay.
Yeah.
So, but but like I said, definitely more good than bad. On the whole, I enjoyed it. It was a good pick. There we go. To watch. And when the movie comes out, I will be interested in seeing it. So there you go. That's I guess can be considered a thumbs up. I don't know when it'll be. The annoying thing about movies is that they take so much longer to be available in English. Maybe they'll put it in theaters. They sometimes do that with series. They put it like briefly in theaters in the US. They did it with the Konosuba movie. They did they do it with Made in Abyss? I'm not sure. What I know they did it with Demon Slayer, but you know, that was Demon Slayer. Okay, so we have talked way too much about things that have nothing to do with the series we were watching. Well, I guess talking about Isekai is kind of related. Any last things to say about it?
No. I'll say more on Friday. So
okay. Yeah. So, all right. Now that we're done with that, we have Spy Family, 2 episodes, episodes 34 and 35. I'm glad we went through this because it meant that we got to the end of this arc before the end of the year. So, basically, on our episodes, basically, Yor manages to beat the remaining assassins with some help from Anya, who is actually able to figure out the situation. It does throw her weapon back. Yor doesn't know that Anya threw it. Also, Lloyd does find out about how there are bombs on the ship because those were discovered, so he poses as a member of the security, if it was that easy to do it, you think some of the assassins would have done that, and I don't think any of them did. Maybe Lloyd is just that great at disguises. He is pretty good, I think. Anyway, he's able to defuse one of them. Anya manages to find one and get someone to look at it. Lloyd ends up again dealing with it, but decides there's not time to disarm it, so he just grabs it, runs with it, throws it off the ship, and by pure coincidence, it happens to land right in the sort of lifeboat that 2 of the bad guys were trying to escape in, and kills them both, apparently. So the family that Yor was protected ends up they're safe, everything's great, they go off, all the assassins are beaten, everyone they enjoy the rest of their vacation. Then we get a bit at the end where Anya tries to Anya's thinking everyone will be really impressed by them going on a ship, but since a bunch of the kids there are really rich, no one cares because their stories are more interesting. Anya tries to embellish things with like squid people, so no one takes her seriously. Then everyone, then like Yor, and there's a funny bit at the end where, you know, Yor, Lloyd, and Yuri are telling Anya, no, you shouldn't lie to people. And then they all think about, oh yeah, we're totally lying to everyone. And then that's the end of the episode and the arc, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, very entertaining arc. Maybe my favorite arc of this series so far. I feel like the whole bomb thing was a little too easily solved. Like, more people didn't notice that bomb going off. Like, some of them were like, oh, it must have been fireworks. It's like, that must have been a really weak bomb then, because it would have been a lot louder and more destructive had it been like, you know, as big a bomb as they tried to say it was. So I don't know. Yeah, I really liked how Anya had to be in on everything. That was pretty entertaining. How she went around and she went from, she went from, you know, that playroom, or she helped Yor, and she helped Lloyd, and I'm sorry, I got Eminence and Shadow on the mind, and I'm almost saying, I almost said Sid there.
Like I said, they're series that are very easy to confuse with each other. Sorry, go on.
No, I just think it was a very good arc. I do.
Yep.
I enjoyed it.
Yep, a good one. Yeah, it had some good action stuff. I mean, maybe at some points it might have stiffed on the animation a little, but we still add action. There was some funny stuff, especially with Anya. The bomb things kind of felt a little like they were just put at the end because they wanted Lloyd to do more in the arc.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, pretty good arc, good wrap up. And that will be it for Spy Family for this year. We'll watch the remaining 2 episodes, well, at the start of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we've got there. The only other comment I guess I had is a question of why aren't more people using guns in these fights? It's because so many are like using swords or knives or whatever, and you just think, yeah, but guns are kind of better than those. I mean, I guess maybe in some cases, yeah, you'd want like a knife or whatever, but it is a little weird that like the assassins are just using these other things. But I don't know, maybe they couldn't get them on the ship, but some of the others did. I don't know. I guess that's a bit of a nitpick. So then we've got the last one, Shangri-La Frontier, episode 5. So, Sunraku and, what's the name of the, rabbit again? Emil. That's it. Fight the boss. Working together, they managed to, beat it. We find out that, Emil can, at least temporarily transform into a girl, which Sunraku thinks to himself about how this must be something to try to appease furries, or he says something like that. Anyway, a bunch of people did take note of the picture of him with the Emil before, which gets a bunch of attention because no one knows what that's about. Ultimately, he does get attacked by this other player who he apparently knows from some other game. They talked as if they knew each other from something, and then I guess they're gonna fight, and yeah, that's basically the episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wasn't really interested in this one too much. I think my problem with it is it just feels like a video game, and it doesn't feel like I'm trying to follow along with a character as he accomplishes some bigger goal. It's just kind of like, okay, he's playing a video game, and that's kind of how it feels to me.
Well, so I wasn't huge on this episode either. I kind of thought most of the boss fight, as they would say, was kind of boring. And also the thing where, like, everyone's, talking with each other about him was kind of a little boring. But some of the other stuff was good. I mean, I thought Sunraku and Immel's interactions were kind of funny. It looks like we at least are getting something more at the end, because that character who shows up is in the theme song, so she's presumably important. That's a nice. That's the problem with theme songs. They totally tell you who's going to be the important characters. Except for Bobobo, they actually have a character who's featured in the theme song as if he's going to be a part of the main group, but then he never joins. Unfortunately, I don't have too much to say about this episode. My brother he was mentioning that he's after I kind of told him about the series and how I thought it had a good first episode, he actually just watched the whole thing and he's current with it. So at least that's an endorsement from him. Then again, he's recommended anime that I didn't like that much. So I think he's got about a 50% record in terms of telling me anime I end up liking. But yeah, I still have some hopes for this series. The beginning I thought was strong. It's just the last few episodes I've been a little weak. But yeah, it's still decent, I think. Okay, that's it for that series, and I guess that's it for our discussion. Wow, even with as many tangents as we went by, we got this done in half an hour? I guess we can give our rankings.
Okay. This week, I'm just going to be nice to Shangri-La Frontier and give it a third place slot, even though probably technically I did enjoy Spy Family, both episodes, more than it. But I'll give it a third place here. I'll give The Eminence and Shadow second place. First place is obviously Spy Family. So it finishes out the year, for the record, tied with Food Wars and Konosuba in the top 3 table, but none of those shows are even in the top 5. So, which does sound surprising, but again, that has a lot to do with the order we watch things in and my personal.
Well, there's also the fact, if you're counting just points, we need to remember some shows we had a lot more episodes of than others.
Right. Yeah. And there was a lot of weeks we watched only 4 things, and 3 of them had to make it on. But
yeah, numbers matter. Also, Eminence and Shadow, we watched nearly 3 times as many episodes of that this year than we saw Spy Family. So you got to somehow take those into account. Anyway, yep, that's it. So next week will be okay. So we'll have
what are your top 3?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't say. The same as you.
Oh, okay.
I thought I mentioned that and forgot I didn't. Okay. So, we're going to do one more. What's going to happen is we're going to have 2 episodes this week, or maybe next week, considering we're sometimes a bit lazy at getting these things up. But we'll do that, and that will be our ranking of the series we watched this year. And then after that, we'll go back to our regular stuff. What we're currently planning, because we're finished with Eminence and Shadow now, and things, and also sorry, I'm stammering. Basically, the current plan for next week is that we'll keep watching Spy Family and Shangri-La Frontier, one episode of each of those. We'll go back to my teen romantic comedy Snafu after a break that ended up being about twice as long as I said it would be. Mm-hmm. And we're also going to be checking out the live-action Netflix One Piece series. Mm-hmm. And so we'll have all that to look forward to, along with our rankings. We'll see how much we disagree on some series and how much we agree on others. Mm-hmm. And that is it for everything this episode then. And I've got nothing else to say. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
You'll all die! And suffer like you've never suffered before.
Garlic Jr. has returned from the dead zone. Now the Earth will feel his wrath. These three warriors are our planet's last line of defense.
It's time to finish you off!
Get ready for a Toonami special event. A Dragon Ball Z Marathon. The Garlic Jr. Saga. New Year's Eve at midnight. Part of New Year's Evil.